Hi, everyone. It's Janelle Evans with Leadership Minds and Matters, and it's our Tuesday weekly Facebook Live, and I'm so glad that you're here participating with me because we have a great topic today. It's all about how to become unstuck when you're in the muck of overwhelm. And, in this forum, we talk about things like that, things that will help us thrive in life, both personally and professionally. And I think it's very normal for us to feel overwhelmed a lot of the time with the big decisions that we make. Hey, it's so good to see David and Hala and Michelle here. Thanks so much for showing up. So again, what we're talking about today is how to become unstuck in the muck of overwhelmed. And before I get started, I just want to make a note that for you, if you have some ideas about this or things that you're doing that work really well when you're feeling overwhelmed, I really want to save some time at the end of our Facebook Live so that you can share those with everyone as well. Because I have some strategies that I want to share with you, but I also believe this is two-way dialogue here. You probably are doing some things that are also working well. So I've got some time at the end I want to save for that. So, breaking through the feeling of being overwhelmed, of being paralyzed, when we're trying to make big decisions can be really hard because there are consequences a lot of times to those big decisions that we're trying to make in our life. And we want so much to make the right decision, right? And sometimes it's a matter of we just need more information, we need some facts, or we need more time to process the decision-making journey, or we need more resources, whatever it is. But, I think that sometimes we're not able to move forward because we let fear kind of get in the way. And then the next thing we have sort of worked ourselves up into this state of perpetual fight or flightness. We've activated that sympathetic nervous system because we thought, oh, the stakes are so high. If I don't make the right choice here, it could cause me not to get that promotion, or I could unintentionally damage a relationship with the decision or some negative consequence. Because what drives that fear is lack of control and lack of certainty when we're trying to make big decisions. And if we get ourselves into this negative state, it becomes paralyzing. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, if I do this, then this might happen. And we what if ourselves to death about it. And so I do have some strategies I want to share with you. What I have learned in my own life from being overwhelmed from time to time, I'm human, is that I know that I have some skills and I have some strategies that can help shift my state. If I'm feeling this, I know that I have what it takes to change my state from being fight or flight, aggravated, overwhelmed, to a place of calmness where I can have more certainty, where I can have a clearer mind to actually process all of the things that I'm trying to think about in making a big decision. And then I can develop a plan of action. And I think whenever we can think something through and we develop a plan, we begin to feel better. We feel less stressed. But if we allow ourselves to stay kind of worked up about the decision and create a lot of unnecessary anxiety and fear around it, it paralyzes us. It clouds our decision making. So it all begins with our mindset. Our mindset determines everything in our life, the decisions we make, the choices we make, how we view the world. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? I've just read something this morning. I'm like, I thought it was such a good frame about, expect the best and the best will come. And while it might sound corny, it is so true. And when it comes to making big decisions and getting ourselves out of a spiral of being overwhelmed, I think it's just as important. We have control over our own mindset. We don't control anyone else, but we do control our own mindset. And we can fortify our ability to find calmness, which then leads to better decision making. Because chaos and stress they really distort our lens on the reality that we're trying to make our decisions from. They distort our perspective. And both of those things kind of just keep us in this swirl of overwhelm and anxiety. So what we need to do is shift from the fight or flight state that keeps us feeling overwhelmed to one that is relaxing and conducive to taking in data, to looking at all of our options, to really understanding, what the facts are, and not let the fear come in and cloud our thinking, because this leads to clarity and the certainty that we're craving at this time. Hey, Megan, I'm so glad you could join us. So again, now I believe that the key to being able to have this clarity and certainty is deeply rooted in mindfulness. Deeply rooted in that, because slowing down enough to be able to collect our own intelligence and our intuition. So the intelligence might be the facts, our intuition might be our emotions about the facts, is really what we need to be able to figure out what are the steps that we need to take when we're contemplating a big decision that we're feeling overwhelmed about. It's because if we never stop doing, we can't possibly listen to our own intellect and to our own emotions about what really is important to us and what matters to us. So then we're able to make the right choices, the best choices that will serve us in the decision that we're trying to make. Mindfulness practices like meditation allow us to be and slow down. That's all they do, just allow us to be. And not only does that help us be more relaxed, but it also expands our level of awareness about everything, beginning with self-awareness. And self-awareness, as you've heard me talk about here many times, is the foundation to us being emotionally intelligent. And when we're more emotionally intelligent, we're able to control our emotions, we're able to be more socially aware. And again, that just helps us in all of the things that we're considering in making a big decision. Hey, Dawn, I'm so glad you could join us. So it starts with mindfulness, creates more self-awareness about what am I really thinking and feeling and observing as I contemplate this big decision. And then that will lead us to more clarity and certainty. All right, so if mindfulness is the foundation to becoming more self-aware, let me share with you some mindfulness strategies that I think will help get you unstuck from the muck of feeling overwhelmed. And these will help you, make better choices and have a positive impact on your future. Now, the very first one is very basic, but it's very important, and we often forget it. And it's just to breathe. Because when we're under stress about this, what we're contemplating here is a big decision, we tend to stop our breathing, or we limit our thinking because we're just, again, we've activated that fight or flight. So we're not breathing normally a lot of the time. Now, this can go on all day. If we don't intentionally reset our parasympathetic nervous system by taking deep breaths, our fight or flight, our sympathetic nervous system just stays on, and it just continues to get amped up throughout the day, and that really clouds our thinking. We're not able to do our best thinking when we're in an activated fight or flight state. So unless it's a life-threatening decision, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about just making big decisions in our life around our families, our job, our lifestyle, whatever it is. And maybe we're just not able to break through. So remember, the first thing you can do, and always accessible to you, is just to breathe. That immediately will make you feel better. Number two, and you've heard me say this before, but I know it works. So meditating every day will provide you the foundation of mindfulness that you need to be able to access some of the other things that I'm going to share as well. And think of it as your mental fitness. And I don't care if you just do 5 minutes, but it's a centering exercise. It's a way to get your brain to focus on what matters most. It allows you to tap into your inner desires. And when we try to make big decisions, sometimes that goes out the window because we look at all the other things. What will people think? How will this impact my career? How will this impact, what people think about me or whatever? And so by being clear on what's most important to us, naturally, we're going to be able to put that into the mix of our decision-making criteria and come out with a better outcome for ourselves. So meditation is just a tool. It's a way to supercharge our ability to be more mindful and in touch with what we really want in life. That's going to influence your decision. Now, number 3, when you're more aware, I want you to tune into your own triggers. And we all have triggers. Things that when somebody says something or does something, or we see something on TV that we have an emotional response to. It's just automatic. We don't even think about it. It just happens. Now, based on our own experiences, our comfort zones, everything, those triggers are going to be different for everyone. However, if you become more aware of those by being more mindful and meditating, you're going to be able to manage those triggers more, keep from going into a fight or flight state about it. And that's going to allow you to also just sort of say, okay, why am I being triggered by this? That might provide you some insight to what steps you need to take and what decisions that you need to make. So when you feel yourself, and you can feel it physically, somebody might say something or you see something on TV and you just feel flustered or you feel like a kind of a negative reaction to it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And just sit with that. We are in total charge of how we respond to things, right? So it'll be an interesting exercise for you to say, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to stop and go, wow. I'm feeling very triggered by that. What is that about? It might have nothing to do with the situation that is triggering you, but if you can just examine why you're being triggered, I think that will help unlock some things that maybe you need to consider in your decision that you're trying to make that you're feeling stuck about. It's like you're getting some intelligence there. Why am I being triggered by this? It's a great exercise to do. So you want to become very aware of your triggers. So that's going to help unlock some things that maybe you need to consider in the decisions that you're feeling paralyzed by at this time. Now, again, meditating is going to help you become more aware of those triggers. So you see, this all works together. It starts with our breath, moving into meditating every day to increase your inner GPS, your self-awareness. And then tuning into what's coming up for you. Okay, this is happening. Why is it happening? Why am I even feeling anything about it, right? Now, the 4th and final thing I want to share is when that happens, when you feel like you're being triggered by something, access your ability to control that. You just pause and breathe and decide how you want to respond to it. Now, I asked you a moment ago just to observe it. I'm being triggered. Wonder what that's about. But let's say you're in a conversation with someone and something is said and you immediately feel like, the most primitive part of your brain is hijacked. Hey, Kate, thanks for joining. You know that, you just like want to say something. But if you pause and breathe, that's going to immediately shift you back into that more relaxed state of being. That parasympathetic nervous system gets activated and you just shoulders drop, you just relax and go, how do I want to respond to that? Now, if this is all new to you, I get it, but try it on. You will be amazed at how it changes how you perceive things, how you think about things, how you communicate with people, because sometimes you're being triggered by something has got nothing to do with the person, but it's information for you to really put into your whole blender of things that you're considering in making these decisions. Hey, Tricia, thanks for joining. I'm talking about pausing and breathing to manage emotional reactions to things that have happened. And we all have the ability to do this. It's just, first of all, knowing that we can do it. Great, got that. You guys all know now. So, and I always remind myself when I'm feeling triggered, like, I am not going to allow negative, toxic chemicals to come into my mind and my body. I'm just not having it. I'm just not going to allow that to happen. And I feel in control, and I feel more centered when that happens. And a lot of times, I save myself because I stop and think how I want to respond versus just having an automatic response that may not be the best thing for me to say. It's very freeing. And all of this helps me be in a much more relaxed state of thinking and being and observing, which then allows me to make the best choices as to how I want to respond, how I want to consider this insight in making my decisions about what's going on that maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed about. It creates space in my brain. And that is really great. It allows me to think before I speak. All right. So mindfulness is the antidote to being mindlessly lost in thought and unable to think. So let me just quickly review the 4 strategies. The first one is just to breathe, reset your nervous system here. Just kind of calm yourself down when you're feeling like, okay, I know I'm overwhelmed. I got to make a big decision here. Okay, breathe. Meditate every day. That's going to increase everything for you from being more relaxed. That's going to be a better framework to make decisions, to being more aware of everything. And then tuning into your triggers. What are those things that are causing me some concern? What is that? What's behind that? What's behind the trigger? And then when you're triggered, pausing and breathing before you respond, before you make a decision. Think about why you're being triggered. What's behind that? That's also insight for you to consider. Now, that's my 4 suggestions, and I want to get to some of yours, but why does this even matter? Well, I know if you practice these strategies, you're going to have a greater inner GPS. You're going to be able to trust yourself more, trust your own intelligence and your own inner feelings about things. And that's just a really powerful place to make decisions from. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to feel more centered, because I call it sort of that inner superpower. I think that's really was a really positive way to frame it. And then you feel less of a struggle. You go into a place of more confidence and certainty with the decisions that you're making. And, you're letting go of that heavy load of stress that's coloring your decisions, that's keeping that cloudy lens about the things that you're trying to decide about. And again, it gives you more bandwidth to have a creative problem-solving capacity. We can't be our best if we don't do anything to get rid of stress every day, whether that's exercise and meditation, hopefully both. So you have to be intentional about this. Again, think of it as that mental fitness that's going to allow you to make great choices, great decisions, and ultimately to live the life that you want to have. That's a big why for doing this. Shifting from cloudy to clear. It's a great place to be. And then it helps you focus really on what matters most. So if you want to learn more about this, about how to get unstuck when you're in the muck of overwhelm and other things like that, I invite you to schedule a call with me. I have spaces on my calendar that I set aside every day to talk with people who decide perhaps they want to work with me, or if not, we have a great conversation and I may refer them to someone else. And whichever way it goes, it's fine. But this is the work that I do with clients, usually people, in leadership roles inside organizations. And we start maybe with meditation and emotional intelligence and a lot of the things that I've just covered in this Facebook Live as well. Those are just a few of the areas. So if that interests you, I'll post here later. You just go to janelleevans.com/talk and find a time for us to talk. Because there's absolutely no need for you or anyone to stay stuck in life. And when it comes to things like what I've just covered here about being overwhelmed or having too much anxiety, too much stress in your life, there are tools, there are things you can learn to alleviate all of this in your life. And as Dawn says, yeah, they're powerful things, simple but powerful. And I work with people online. I have a coaching program, and we learn all of this stuff over a period of 8 weeks. So if that interests you, book a call with me. But let me pause and see if anyone who's watching would like to type in the chat box anything that you do that you feel helps you be less overwhelmed so you can make better decisions, make better choices, and then you feel like kind of keeps you in a really good place in life that allows you to get what you want in life. That's what we're all trying to achieve. If anyone wants to type in the chat box, please feel free to share a tip, a strategy, a tool, anything that you think would be helpful to anyone watching or anyone who sees the replay later here. I've just mentioned a couple of things here. Great. Okay, Michelle, this is great. I try to imagine the best possible outcome, or if all else fails, palm trees, a bright blue sky, and the feel of sun on my shoulders. I love it. Well, I think, again, what you just said is so good. I try to imagine the best possible outcome when we're trying to make a big decision. So that's a very positive mindset technique. And I encourage you, that's great. And thank you for sharing. And then it fails, palm trees, bright blue sky, and the feel of the sun. That puts you in a positive mindset because obviously I know, Michelle, you love the beach, and that is kind of a happy place for you. And we all can figure out what that is for ourselves. And the key is we all have the ability to do this. We control what goes on in our brain and in our hearts. We don't control much else. We don't control anyone else, how they think, how they view us, or any of that. So thanks, Michelle. And David says, I do something that is so intense that it totally absorbs my mind because I'm focusing totally on that activity. It might be a captivating movie, but also might be power yoga, surfing, or hiking in a beautiful place. This allows me to escape the bonds of paralysis when feeling overwhelmed. Awesome. I also meditate to help prevent being overwhelmed and to help me make choices to get out of being overwhelmed. I believe in being able to access many emotional states from complete calm to extreme excitement. Learning to stay calm and think clearly in all fight or flight situations is a great skill that meditation creates long after the act of meditating is over. Excellent. Yes. Particularly if you do your meditation in the morning, people ask, well, when's the best time? The best time is when you're going to do it. But for a lot of us, if we meditate in the morning, that sense of calmness, that residual positive, I've got this feeling, lasts all day long. And it's amazing. And that just, again, gives you a framework of whatever it is that you're contemplating, whatever it is you're trying to decide about, you're going to be in a better position to have a better, more effective outcome if you do it from a place of calmness versus a place of chaos. Thanks so much, David. And I know you've been a meditator for over 40 years, so it's working. All right, Kate says, start the day with making a task list. Keeps me focused. At the top of the list is meditation. Yay. Meditation, workout, and midday walk. Man, those are great. If all of us could do a walk every day, I think that would just be so amazing because that's movement. And for some of us, that can be even a moving meditation. But getting our mental fitness on, working out, getting our physical fitness, fantastic. And then that midday walk, man, that's just a great set of tools that will help you optimize everything in your life. Thank you for sharing that. And Trisha says, I stop and breathe and evaluate the true importance of whatever the stressor may be. Excellent. I balance it with what is most important to me so the stress gets the focus it deserves and does not take over. Fantastic. Yeah, so you did the pause. That's exactly what I think you're doing here. And then you say, okay, what's important to me? You know, do I need to expend energy on this or not, right? And then if it does deserve that energy, you get and sometimes it doesn't, so you don't let it take over. Man, all of these are great strategies, and I'm going to leave these posted here for sure. So thank you all so much. I think a lot of what you said just aligns beautifully with the 4 that I covered. And I loved hearing it in your own words, because that's how we learn. We learn from each other here, you know, about what we can do. And the most important thing is to remember we are in control of our mindset. We are in control of, you know, dialing something up and creating drama, or just pausing, assessing, deciding, relaxing, what is really going on and what do I need to pay attention to, and what do I want in my life, not what everybody else wants. What do I want? So if we are more mindful, we are naturally going to be more attuned to those things that really light us up. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want to have the highest quality life experience possible. Unfortunately, some of us are just running around so much we don't even know what we want. We're just responding to everything or reacting to everything, and we kind of lose touch with what's most important to us. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, I appreciate you guys putting in the chat box things that you're doing. They're fantastic. Keep doing them. And if anyone thinks of something later, you can always add it. But I will wrap up here for Facebook Live today on how to get unstuck when you're in the muck of overwhelm. And again, if anyone wants to schedule a call with me, please go to janelleevans.com/talk and you'll see my calendar. Amen to you too, Tricia. Thank you all for showing up. Take care. Bye-bye. With me, please go to Janelle Evans.